Welcome back to Chris Greenhill's Garage. Thank you for watching. I am one half of the Chris Greenhill squared around here. The other Chris is doing something with his life, like getting an education or something pathetic like that. Who knows? And please pardon me, I am losing my voice pretty badly. It's coming and going, mostly going. I'm here today to work on my car, Project White Trash, my 1988 Ford Mustang GT. This is it in the background, looking majestic and beautiful as always, of course. And today I'm going to be installing a Driveshaft safety loop on this car, or at least I'm going to start installing a Driveshaft safety loop on this car. A few weeks ago I'm watching a video on Brutal Vlogs channels, and one of his young proteges has a beautiful Fox body Mustang. He took the Driveshaft safety loop off, did some modifications, took it out for a test hit, and things went badly. He lost his driveshaft, his exhaust system, fuel line, and the floorboard of the car. It was ugly. Those guys over there have a great support system, car lifts. They had all the things. They got the car back together in a couple of days. If that happens to us, we will not have the car back together in a couple of days. So I immediately ordered up 2 Driveshaft safety loops, and here they are. These are the generic bolt-in style, made for the 79 to 93 Mustang. I believe they actually fit 79 to 2004. I ordered 2 of them, one for my car, one for Junior's car. And before I take apart Junior's car and start trying to figure it out on the fly, I'm going to install it on my car first and experiment and see how it's going to go and what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and how hard this is going to be. Deep down, I've always known what could happen if you didn't have a Driveshaft safety loop. I've seen it live in person when I was younger, but I didn't really think about it till I saw it again a few weeks ago, and I thought, yeah, I can't afford to let that happen, so it's time to get this done. So next couple of days I'll be doing this to my car, then I'm going to move on to Junior's car once I get it figured out. First, I must take off the exhaust system that I just recently installed in hopes of getting this car running soon. Joy. Or maybe not. I got the loop up in there without removing anything, and it appears it'll clear the floorboard, or fit up in the floorboard, clearing the brake cable and all that. And it looks like I may have enough room to install this thing without removing everything. Let's see. My hardware kit here came with plenty of bolts, plenty of lock nuts, and about half as many washers as I needed. Both kits are the exact same. I'm not sure what's up with that, but personally I like a washer on each bolt and each lock nut. That's just me. I guess I'm gonna have to go get some extras. So I got this Driveshaft bolted up, put in here, bolted together, and kind of mocked up in about 5 minutes. It's super easy. The problem I've got is there are no 2 even flat spots on both sides of the car. Everywhere I try to put it, there's something kind of in the way. Now that's really just kind of my OCD. I really want it to be flat and perfect and immaculate, but it's just not going that way. The good news is when I put this thing up on the floorboard, I have plenty of space all around. A couple of reviews I read after I bought it said that this thing did not fit in the transmission tunnel. And I've got 2 inches of clearance, top, bottom, all around, no matter where I put this thing. So I think now it's just a matter of figuring out where I want it, drilling it, and bolting it in. This really isn't very difficult. Hopefully Junior's car will be just as easy. But I've only got 2 hands, so I've got to put this down and get this done. Alright, this is becoming a little more troublesome and bothersome than I thought. Everywhere I try to put this thing, there's just something in the way, like that spot. There's a good flat spot up here. It's a good flat spot on both sides that I can mount this thing real nice. but I don't know if you can see that. That is all the way up, like the very edge of the drive shaft, right behind the U-joint. I'm afraid that if I lose the U-joint, this thing will rattle out of here. I really wanted this further back, but I cannot find a place to mount it where it'll sit flush anywhere. I've tried flipping this around and flipping it over, and there's just nowhere for this thing to go where it mounts exactly where I like it. I'm getting pretty frustrated. All right, I finally just had to pick an area. Got my paint marker out, traced it, which was easier said than done with all this grease and oil on the bottom of the car. Drilled a hole, ran my bolt. I'm gonna get this thing up here and make sure it's gonna still be squared up and lined up and do what I want it to do. I know she's an old beater and I call her white trash, but I hate having to drill holes in her. But anyway, that seems like it's gonna work. I'm gonna get one in the other side, line it up, and then I'll go back and do all the others. Just make sure I've still got my proper alignment and gap on the drive shaft safety loop. All right, here are the bolt holes drilled through the floor into the drive shaft safety loop. I am not sure what combination of adamantium and mithril this floorboard is made of, but my metal bit did not like it, neither did I. That was rough, man. Drill bit was smoking, the floor was smoking. Ugh, golly. Built them strong in the 80s, apparently. All right, well, I've got this thing in. It's not tightened down because I didn't think of it till now, but I've got to have somebody up top to hold the bolt in place while I tighten down the washers. But I mean, it's in. Plenty of room. It's nice and centered. Can't see this, but you can see how far back on the drive shaft it is, where it's supposed to be about 4 to 6 inches. And it is drilled. It is bolted in. It is mounted. And I'll get somebody up top to hold a wrench while I tighten this down here in a little while, and we'll be done. And now that I know what I'm doing, here soon we'll go and tackle Chris Jr.'s car. So see you then. Hey, our shot cat Jubilee has joined us. That is Jubilation Lee, named after the X-Men, is my daughter's, named her about 13 or 14 years ago. Forget how old she is, but she's pretty old. Hi, Jubilee. Hey, look who joined me. He's going to help me install the drive shaft safety loop on his car, since he wasn't here to help me on my car. Told you before, boy, you don't need an education. You need to be here all the time helping us work on cars, a real life skill. I don't have an education, and it turned out great, didn't I?
No.
You're a terrible son. Here's Junior pulling out the first of the 2 seats and get these things out of the way. Then we're going to pull the carpet, get a look at the floorboard, and get to work on the drive shaft safety loop and possibly some interior restoration, depending on how bad it is. All right, we finally got the center console out. It was like 8 screws and 4 quick disconnect connectors that did not quick disconnect at all, but we finally got it out, and yeesh, there's some rust on the hand brake and mount assembly. We'll have to address that. We're about to pull the carpet to see what it looks like under here. This is the part of the video where things take a little bit of a turn. We're not going to show you the entire removal of the interior and all the things we've got to do to get the drive shaft safety loop in, because that's turned into a whole other thing. We're going to turn that into a whole nother video. We're going to do a full interior restoration because of what we found. If you're wondering, why is he wearing welding goggles? Well, it's because Chris and I are welding on the exhaust also, which is also another video. And we kind of turned one project into 2, which turned into 3 all at the same time. And I have no idea when you're going to see this video. But anyway, that's why we're just going to do 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100, jump right on ahead to the drive shaft safety loop install, and none of the interior stuff. All right, the executive decision has been made by the CEO and COO of Project Piece of Stang Industries. We are going to pull the entire carpet out and start an interior restoration and stuff. We'll pull the carpet now. We'll do some basic restoration now. We're just going to leave the carpet out to clean up later. And we're going to try to leave the car in a condition where we can still drive it. We'll bolt the seats back in at the end of the day so we can use it. We're going to pull some interior panels out, pull the carpet out, and prepare to start restoring the floorboard, clean up the carpet and all that. But we're going to remove the carpet, get the drive shaft safety loop installed, do some restoration, get the car back together so we can continue driving it. By the way, Chris Jr. is the CEO and COO of Project Piece of Stang Industries. I'm just the money man. I'm not sure I got the good end of that deal. I kind of feel a little gypped now. I think we need to renegotiate, boy.
No, you're fine with what you got.
Oh, terrible son.
Be thankful.
How dare you? All right, so the interior restoration's kind of taken on a life of its own. We're going to stop this and move on to the original project, the drive shaft safety loop. And we'll start tackling all this here soon. All right, well, the dimensions on Chris Jr.'s 82 are different than my 86. My drive shaft safety loop just slid right up and in without touching anything. Junior's car, the drive shaft safety loop will only come in back here in the back, but then it hits the e-brake cables. It's hitting the e-brake cable and the mufflers. We're going to try pulling the mufflers, which works for us because we were going to try to do tailpipes here soon anyway, so we'll just weld on them while they're out. All right, we have the mufflers and flow tubes removed. Hopefully we can get the drive shaft safety loop in now. And I guess Junior says I called one of the cars an 86. Mine's an 88, his is an 82. It's pretty obvious after doing these back to back. The 82 has a smaller transmission tunnel and space, probably because it had a 4-speed SROD transmission instead of a T5 like it has now. So that's probably part of our problem. But there are definitely dimensional issues that are different from this car to my car. The dimensions in here are a lot smaller than my car. Even with the mufflers removed, I got it this far, but I'm still about 4 or 5 inches short of where this needs to be. And it is hitting the brackets where the seat belts bolt in and anchor. It's a lot narrower than my car. This is not fun. All right, with a bunch of hammering, we finally got it where it needs to go. And yes, the dimensions in this car are quite a bit tighter than in my car. So now we got to figure out where to mount this thing without it hitting. All right, after quite a bit of finagling and screwing around, I think we've got a spot where it mounts flush on both sides and the hoop will fit. So we're going to try to start bolting the hoop onto the cross member and see how it looks. All right, here's Junior dropping in the bolts and hand tightening the loop part of the drive shaft safety loop. We'll get that tightened down, get it lined up where we want it. You can see our paint marker stuff here, and we'll start drilling and putting this thing in. All right, so the hoop is firmly attached. Junior's gonna hold this up in place. I'm gonna start drilling the first hole. We're gonna get one bolt in each side, which will make this 10 times easier. We'll check the fitment, then we'll drill everything else and mount it up. We're literally just gonna put a drill bit through here, punch a hole in the floor, drop a bolt through it, tighten it down. Here's the passenger side all bolted in. This was not flush with the floorboard when we held it by hand. Once we punched holes in it, tightened it all up, everything pulled into shape really well. So we've got 5 of the 8 in. It's hard to see on video, but there's our clearance for the drive shaft safety loop. It's pretty even. Got the same amount of space pretty much all around it. Now we're going to punch the other 3 holes, put the other bolts on, and move on. All right, there we go. Drive shaft safety loop is installed. You can see it's got clearance all around it. We're gonna go test drive it here in a little bit after we do some work on the mufflers and then get the mufflers back on. Here's what the floorboard looks like with our drive shaft safety loop installed. Not a big deal, it's just 4 bolt heads. They'll be covered by carpet soon. As part of our tailpipe install and our drive shaft install, we have the mufflers removed to fit our drive shaft safety loop. We have an open H pipe. We're gonna fire it up and see what it sounds like. Go for it, buddy. What do you think? You want to just drive it like this? No? Are you sure? Listen how good it sounds. Oh my God. You sure you don't want to go test drive it real quick?
Test drive.
What if we just leave the mufflers off forever?
That's your car.
All right. All right. So, tightening down the seats. The drive shaft safety loop is installed. The sun is setting. We're gonna go test drive this thing real quick, minus the majority of the interior, so it'll be nice and loud in here. Good times. Had a slight delay. We kind of started to drive off without our seat belts installed because we pulled the interior and had to put those back in. So now we're gonna drive it with a big hole in the floor around the transmission and no sound insulation and no carpet. And it's already louder in here, isn't it? Let's go make sure the drive shaft safety loop doesn't rub. It looked great underneath. It shouldn't touch anything. We're just going to make sure.
It will fly up and hit you.
Yeah, it's a little bit loud in here. Whoa, it's loud. I didn't realize how much the center console and the carpet sound deadened the hole where the transmission is. Now we can hear every gear, hear the clutch engage, you can hear everything. Alright, that's it. That's all we've got. Both drive shaft safety loops are installed on both cars. Other than the fact that we stopped what we were doing and did a bunch of welding on our exhaust, which is not in this video, and we did some interior restoration, which is also not in this video, and all that. I mean, even pulling the seats, pulling the carpet back, we probably could have had this drive shaft safety loop in an hour and a half. Mine took an hour by myself. So this is a little bit of time investment, a little bit of money for a big safety investment. And that's what's most important. God forbid our drive shaft give out, it twist, or we throw a U-joint, which is the most likely scenario. Hopefully this will protect our exhaust, protect the floorboard, protect us, maybe save our rear end. You know, if you hear it pop and you stop the car pretty quick, hopefully that'll save us a lot of heartache. But thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Have a great day.